I'm flying solo. 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 All right.
You didn't know. This is the Out of the Blue podcast. Listen anywhere you get your podcast.
That looks really good.
No, he's fucking good. That motherfucker don't miss, man.
The best things in life happen out the blue.
This shit right here, nigga. This shit right here, nigga.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
What it do, man? It is the mastermind, Chris Blue, and you are tuned into the Out the Blue podcast, the podcast where a conversation literally appears out the blue. And as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, I am flying solo this week. My lady Zabria, it's been a hectic week for both of us, and she is still out working and things like that. But your boy is here. The show must go on. And I got a lot of stuff to talk to y'all about, man. I think this episode is going to be basically like a producer side of things, because for those that don't know, I've been creating content since 2014. I've been making some type of video, some type of something since 2014. And I now feel like I'm at a point where I can kind of talk about it more so because I've accomplished a lot of the different things that I said I was going to accomplish before everything just started. You know what I'm saying? I'm on that trajectory to where I feel like within a few years I should, with everything going good by God's grace and everything that I've been doing, behind the scenes I should be at a point where I should be a dominant media personality in this field, God willing. So I have a lot of stuff to say. I have a lot of different things I want to get off my chest, and it's just me. So y'all gonna have to goddamn get along with it for the ride, if you feel me, for this one. If you're a creator, I really hope you enjoyed this episode, because this episode, I'm not gonna say it's just for you guys, but if you're a creator, you're gonna resonate with a lot of the stuff that I'm about to say. So the first thing I wanted to talk about, man, I definitely think that as far as media goes, right, because we said we're coming off an election to where a lot of different media tactics was used in front of us. A lot of different things happened directly in front of us that sway how we feel. I will definitely go on record to say that as far as media for both President Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris, Trump, that's where I feel like Trump did his most damage. I think a lot of his commercials were strong. They elicited that emotional response that people needed, like that people resonated with, and that someone was even so shocking that it was hard not to. They even went on and used Charlamagne the God and DJ Envy, the host for the Breakfast Club. They even used them in a commercial without their permission, and they sent a cease and desist. But by the time everything shook out, it was already around the end of the election, so it really didn't matter. And, again, also Trump don't care about the law, but neither here nor there. But, man, all in all, I just feel like we're in a place where we see every day how media is manipulating us. Every day, no matter how you receive your media, whether you're more of a text media person, whether you're more of a podcast person, whether you're more just a traditional TV person, like you was raised off of watching the news, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, things like that, we're seeing broad day in real time how much media is affecting us, man. And it's kind of a double-edged sword, because with media comes narratives, and with narratives comes different people's perspective on different things. It's night and day. You can watch a Fox News broadcast and then watch a CNN broadcast and then watch an MSNBC broadcast, then watch an ABC broadcast, and they can all be talking about the same things, but the perspective is usually different, or is different, and just what they're talking about and how they're victimizing or villainizing different people changes based on how this happens. And it's kind of scary, but it's something that's been happening from the dawn of time. Now, when it comes, but that's just in politics. What I more so want to talk about is entertainment in media. We see that kind of bleeding into politics. A lot of people were very critical that I know that were very critical of Kamala because she had a Megan Thee Stallion performing with at her rally. That she had Glorilla. She had different rappers. Now Trump had rappers too, but that isn't a lot of the narrative that I'm getting. She had a bunch of rappers. She had a bunch of different black entertainers. She had Beyonce, for fucking crying out loud. She had Taylor Swift talking about her. It was a lot of celebrities all around this election. Athletes too. It was a huge celebrity presence, and I saw a lot of people talk about that hurt Kamala, but I just feel like that's ignoring the elephant in the room, which is media sways people, no matter how you like it or not. There are some people who are Beyonce fans, who are Taylor Swift fans, who are fucking Kenny Chesney fans, whoever the fuck fan you are. There are some people who have been introduced to these politicians through that person they're talking about. If not, then it wouldn't be such a big ass deal for celebrities to speak out about these different things. I remember the whole shut up and dribble thing with LeBron James, where there was a media personality who told LeBron James, who is arguably the greatest basketball player ever, that he should shut up and dribble, and that became a whole fucking deal. Like, it was like, you're telling us just to play this sport. Nah, man, we have a responsibility to speak towards the media. Then you saw NFL and NBA taking stands against violence against black people and shit. So it was just a lot. It's a lot of just media around us. But in entertainment, I'm starting to feel a little more scared about where we're going. Now, maybe that might just be the pessimistic nature in me. And I am a little pessimistic at times, but I just feel like it is getting to the point where there is nothing off limits. I mean that by saying, if in regards to what the fuck ever I want to do, if I want to make a moment, nothing is off limits to making that moment. I could do something to the point, something so heartwarming that it make America cry, or I can do something so deplorable that America gags, but they both gonna watch. So it's like, fuck it, right? And I can if I monetize it right, I can make money off of doing whatever the fuck it is that I'm doing, whether that be good, bad, or more morally fucked up, anything. As long as the odds are there, it's a good thing. And I'm not saying that it's like that for everybody, but I would just remember, I don't know, maybe I'm just speaking as someone that just wishes it was like that, but I just feel like I remember a time to where people had a why, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was a reason for you wanting to have this attention. It was a reason for us to tune in. Maybe that's just how I'm skewed, just, you know what I'm saying? But it was a reason. Maybe I'm just bullshitting, and honestly, looking back on it, yeah, I mean, I feel like some people have their reasons, and some people just want to be famous. That's just how it is. Some people just want to have those eyes on you, and some people just want to be famous, no matter what it is. No matter what we got famous for, as long as I'm famous, I'm good. And we can't ignore how big of a deal that shit is, because there's a lot of people with platforms. Because here's the thing. When you become famous, you have a platform, meaning that there are enough people that check you out to where if you say some shit, they're gonna hear it. And that's all. I mean, that's where brand deals come from. That's where a lot of different entities will pay you for your influence for that reason, because you have what's called a platform. But nowadays, we don't know who the famous people are. We have motherfuckers that are influencers. You have never seen this nigga a day in your life, but that motherfucker got 500,000 followers on Instagram, and motherfuckers care what he said because he said it. You see what I'm saying? So, like, it's a difference now. You got people who want to be influencers, and I will be a fucking hypocrite if I sit here with a podcast and act like I don't want to have some type of influence. I don't want to do that. But my shit is more monetary. I ain't gonna lie to you. If I'm looking for the generational wealth. I'm looking for the, you know what I'm saying, to impact my family and to be in different tax brackets and shit through this, do something that I literally enjoy to do. Like I said, I started this shit in 2014, just making content. I don't get paid for a lot of the shit that I do. I do it off the cuff, off the strength, off the blessing it is to be able to create content and to put it out for the masses. I do not take that lightly. And there's so many people that do. That's my issue. It's so many people that take this shit for granted. If anybody ever stops and clicks on whatever the fuck you do, if you a rapper, if you a motherfucking singer, if you a musician, if you a damn author, writer, poet, blogger, whatever the fuck, it is a blessing to do what it is that we do, and we should never take that shit for granted. But there's so many people that take this shit for granted to the point where we don't even know why this motherfucker famous. You know what I'm saying? There are people who, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm not gonna throw nobody's business and none of that shit under the bus, because that's just not what this is. I'm not trying to sow hate and none of that. I'm on my soap bucket right now. I'm on my fucking box right now, because man, it's just so many different things in media that's just fucked up, man. There's a lot of hate. It's a lot of just negativity. There's a lot of low vibrational shit that's out here. And it's always been out here. But it just feels, I don't know what it is. It just feels heavier now. It's like when I see two women fighting, like I see that shit so much, it's like, bro, it's not even a thing no more. Or a lady with a fat ass booty twerking, like you see it so much, not even on purpose, that it's like, okay, all right, again, you know what I mean? So it's just a lot of low vibrational shit. Now now that's how you make your bread. That's how you make your bread. Get your motherfucking cheese. You see what I'm saying? I'm not knocking you for that, but I just feel like if you are someone who creates, you gotta have some sort of a why, right? Because if you don't have a why for this shit, you kind of just out in the ocean just doing shit. You really are just doing whatever it takes to get the next view. You are basically a fucking view prostitute. You are a motherfucking subscriber prostitute. Now, again, nothing wrong. Prostitution is the oldest fucking profession there is. So I am not gonna sit here and knock prostitution and act like it is not a entity that will generate money. But at the end of the day, is that the legacy that you want to have? Does anybody even think legacy? Because I don't know. For me, that's the main thing on my mind. A lot of times, I want to have a legacy. I don't want to look back at all the shit that I did, and I've already had an experience with that. That's why a lot of my videos on YouTube you can't find, because that was just me in a different time period. I was very childish. I said a lot of wild shit because I thought saying wild shit was funny. I was like being a shock jock. I was just wild. And it wasn't even like fucked up wild. It was like still some I would say childish, teen, pubescent shit, but it won't no shit like it is now. Nowadays, anything can go viral and anything can be made content, no matter what. You can go on fucking X/Twitter right now and motherfuckers post people getting killed. Like, niggas post people getting shot, maimed, posting people at the worst times of their lives. Shit, I just seen a clip from Kai Cenat. Shout out to Kai, and Kai is definitely not the person to do this, but it was the episode where Kodak was on there, and Kodak was obviously tweaking like on some, like he was a J. Like that nigga was a J in front of the whole world and took a perk in front of the whole world. And we know so many different people that died from this shit and like opioids and shit like that. And he took the perk in front of the whole world, got backlash for it, and then was like, what's wrong with y'all? I just popped the perk and that's all it is. You clearly you don't have a medical nothing, bro. That's why, because we seen you like this before. And I know that you probably on probation. You probably shouldn't do shit like that. But anything can be content. Not no fault to Kai. I'm pretty sure he didn't know this grown ass man was gonna come in here and throw a perk in the air and catch it in his mouth. I'm pretty sure he didn't know that. But at the end of the day, it's still content, unfortunately. And there's no end. There's no fucking end. I think it's gonna get to the point where it kinda is, where we're so desensitized as people that you're going to always be in limbo trying to find out what is going to be the next piece of content to put out. And if this next piece doesn't surpass the views of that other piece, then I got to do something wild to make sure I get those views back. Otherwise, I'm fucked up out here. You see what I'm saying? And there are people who get rich like that. I mean, and when I say what I'm about to say, I'm not saying that this. I mean, it is what it is. As far as the business plan, it is fucking genius and it is killing. I am not gonna deny that. But shit like Zeus Network, it's like it's gonna come a time where I'd seen like a clip recently where Krishan was talking to her sister and was bringing up the fact that that it was like molestation and shit happening, and I'm like, yo, like like why the fuck? Like, I get it, it's a shock, it's, you know what I'm saying, I get it, it's the shock is what make people go, oh, what the fuck, and it went viral, so it did the job as far as what a network does. But goddamn, man, do you know how much trauma that is, man? Like, and we talking about this shit broad day, like people get to fighting, scrapping, maiming, cutting themselves up, cutting each other's face up. I think I seen in the motherfucking trailer for Baddies this year. I mean, for this season, motherfucker pulled out a Glock and was busting that bitch. Like, I'm just saying, like, or at least that's the way that they made the intro looks. She may have never even popped it off. But, and the person that I think pulled the Glock, not a snitch, I'm pretty sure she on probation too. So, this is where our media landscape is at right now. It is so big, it is so powerful that people will literally do anything just to have it. You know what I mean? Being in this podcasting space, there's a lot of people who built a podcasting background of straight lies. None of that shit is real. They cap for the public. And I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Just because you got a podcast don't mean you got bread. I know I'm fucking up a lot of people's shit when I say that, but just because you got a podcast does not mean you have bread at all. There's shit that goes into this. Number one, unless you went through a background, you ain't editing this. So someone's editing this shit for you. Unless you have that production background like myself, where all this shit is me. So, but if you don't have that, then you're going to either have to learn how to do that shit or pay a motherfucker to do it for you. That adds up. So you probably in the hole. Unless you just got a motherfucker that just fuck with you like that, that'll just do your shit like that for free. Cool. I can't do that no more. Motherfuckers use you heavy as shit when they know you know how to do some shit. Oh yeah. Nah, that don't happen like that. You gonna have to pay me for my services. But yeah, man. Just people in general, you need to understand, just because you got podcasts don't mean you got no motherfucking money. And please do not take this shit for granted, man. Like, let's start really understanding. Maybe I'm just introspective like that. I see a lot of people don't give a fuck. If you don't give a fuck, don't start giving a fuck now. But eventually you're going to have to give a fuck. There are people in my life now that are babies. I know my cousin Quincy has a daughter. And Quincy is my brother. That is one of those people I will take a bullet for. And just seeing him with his own seed, it's just like, man, it just puts future, it puts legacy in your face. I don't want to do this shit and not make a legacy for it. Like I said, 2014, my nigga, it's been 10 years. I've been doing something in fucking media for 10 years. Off and on, whether it be radio, whether it be YouTube, but I took my stripes and I learned how to do this shit. Now I'm to the point where I can feel like I can truly capitalize off of it. I'm a one-man band, but I'm starting to integrate other people into it. Like a year ago, 2 years ago, it would have been crazy for me to even think about having a fucking co-host like Zabria, but she's doing a phenomenal job. Or having different guests on like this, because I don't like people in my space. Even though I fuck with you, I don't really like people in my space. But I'm opening up and I'm starting to allow more people to be on this show, because what's good as a media platform if it's just you? I'm not trying to do this self-serving shit. I'm trying to actually have a message and actually speak to the people. I want to speak truth into the young black youth. I want to be able to talk to some people and, you know what I mean, push actual positive narratives out there versus being so self-serving. But at the same time, I want to be a hypocrite. I want to be a fucking millionaire. I want to be the first millionaire in my family through this media thing. But yeah, man, especially how big a media thing that podcasting is right now. Man, and it's just going to get bigger. Podcasting is getting so bigger. and just the difference between podcasting and radio. Oh my God. You know how many people that I know that have active radio shows that ask me questions about podcasting, and it's to understand the difference between the two and how both of which work. It's pretty simple. All you gotta do is understand radio is programming. Radio is basically, at this time, I have a log. I have a 24-hour log of what's finna happen on this radio station. At this time, this shit's gonna go. At this time, this shit's gonna go. I can tell you at 1200, that's the top of the hour. I can tell you at damn 1400 that's the 05 liner. That's the information we need out. People to pay for these ads. Yeah, it's programming. It is 24 hours of straight programming. Podcasting is on demand, meaning someone has to have a demand to go find this shit, or they have to be introduced to it through another avenue, and eventually everybody got to click the hit play. Everybody got to click play for the podcast. Those are the only two differences between radio and podcasting. That's the big difference. Now, of course, there's more difference as far as like ad breakdowns and things like that. But the big difference is that radio and podcasting clash that way. Now, podcasting has now gotten way bigger to the point where you've seen political figures like a Donald Trump and a Kamala Harris going to circumvent regular TV platforms to go speak to podcasters. We are media, ladies and gentlemen. Do not get it fucked up. Just don't let people ever downgrade your fucking show. I don't give a fuck what it is. You are still media. There are people that click play on this shit that you have some type of influence, whether they like it or not, whether it be your motherfucking clips, whether it be your actual full out long form content, whatever. There's a vested interest in you, gang. Don't let them play you. But this is big. This is important. This is shit that actually matters in this media landscape. And there are still people that play with it. There are still people that don't. First off, let me just tell you this. You do not have a fucking podcast if you do not have a RSS feed. Say it one more time at a motherfucking different angle. You do not have a podcast if you do not have a RSS feed. What's an RSS feed, Chris? That is basically what houses all of your different podcast episodes. Meaning we upload our episode to our RSS feed. Our RSS feed then sends it out to the different podcast platforms. That's how we're able to say listen on any podcasting platform, because it's not just one that shit goes out to. That's what you get depending on what your podcasting streaming website is, whether you go Anchor, whether you go Buzzsprout, wherever it is, wherever your directory is, that is your podcast. So when a motherfucker asks you, in an instance, if a motherfucker wanted to ask you to run an ad on your podcast, that means they want an ad on your RSS feed. They want that is talking audio. RSS feeds, unless somehow, some way they change this shit, RSS feeds is not video, right? So a lot of people don't know what a podcast even is, if you want to be 100. A podcast is straight audio. I could put out a podcast right now and y'all wouldn't see video right at all. Simply because a podcast is just that. It is an audio-based platform. That is what it is. Video on top of that is the icing on the cake. A lot of times, to be real, the video is used to get people to come into the podcast. But you don't necessarily need video to start a podcast. You just want video to start a podcast, because in your mind, a podcast and YouTube channel is the same. No, it's not. It's not. If you just do videos and your podcast and shit is not on the podcasting platform, because it's so easy. If you really, and that's why I'm not mincing words. Because if you want that bitch on the podcasting platform, you can get that bitch on the podcasting platform for the low. I've been doing it for years. You don't need to pay for that shit. Just look up information. But don't worry, I'm gonna have a class for all that. So don't worry about all that. I'm gonna help you with that down the road. But when it comes to motherfucking podcasting, that is what it is. Podcasting is audio. So a lot of times you will see people do their big announcement. Oh, we having a podcast. This is our fucking podcast. Go listen to whatever the fuck this is podcast by yours truly. And all they do is drop you the videos on YouTube. No, sir, you have a channel. Nothing wrong with the channel. You just don't have a podcast. And I'm not the goddamn podcasting police, but just know that is what a podcast is in and of itself. Podcasting and radio should be more. It should be more in tune, but they are so different that it's fucking crazy. One thing that I have an issue with in radio is that radio is a little kind of dated. And the reason it's dated is for no fault to the people. It's because to radio itself. It's the people that's making it dated. A lot of times radio is that old guard. That is that this is my shit. This is that I don't want to throw nobody no big company names out there. Because at the end of the day, I have a goal to be on a nationally syndicated radio show through my work through podcasting. That's what it is. I want to put that into the zeitgeist and let that be what it is. But that's the world that I would like to be in. But in regards to radio, it's a little dated because they still don't understand. Well, in small markets, they don't understand the value of having a small market. There's a lot of times that people are nationally syndicated, and they're syndicated in radio shows are nationally syndicated, and they're syndicated in over 100 different markets. So you can be in a little ass country town, and they playing the Breakfast Club because the Breakfast Club is syndicated there. That's why motherfuckers on the start like Charlemagne and Envy can be like, shout out to WCR3 down in fucking Maryland. I mean, up in Maryland. That listen to us, and at the same time say down to WZZZR in fucking Baton Rouge, Louisiana, that's listening to us. You see what I'm saying? Because they're always pushed in different. They're in so many different markets that it don't fucking matter. But when it comes to old like those country or small stations, they play them niggas, but they don't understand that they had the opportunity to also make talent. That's how the shit should be, but it ain't like that. In most places, it's hard as hell to get a full-time job in radio as a talent. Now, what you gotta know some niggas. Just again, I kind of give you an idea of how it is on the need to know shit in the relationship that you make. Literally, I called a radio station that I worked for. I'm not gonna say the name of the station. Called the station before I ever started working for them. Called the station, was like, yo, I got an extensive radio background. I know how to do stuff. I was literally the program director for a radio station. I can help y'all right now. I can literally come in day one and tell you how to do some shit different than you already been doing it and get your actual reach out there. They told me right after I said all this, they said, oh, but we don't have any spots. We're not really looking for nobody. And now it's the end of the conversation. I hit up my radio OG. If you know my radio OG, then you know that he is really, people know him. A lot of people know him. I hit him up and was like, man, I'm looking for a job in radio. I done called around to all these different people and they ain't fucking with me. And I told him the name of that station. He said, what? All right, hold on. Called him the day after that. Called the station the day after that. The next morning when I woke up, I get a call from that radio station. The guy from the same number I just called. And they said, oh, wow, we would love to have you. You know what I'm saying? We understand that you're a young personality. That you're a young person in radio and you want to go ahead and continue your radio career. We'd love to have you on, starting you at this budget and things like that. And I'm like, wow, literally a phone call opened that door. But the resume didn't. You see what I'm saying? So that's the kind of viewpoint I have of radio right now. It's such a high barrier of entry that people are starting to get frustrated on how the fuck they got to go from here to here to here to here to here just to be a personality. Because everybody can't be a radio personality. But I feel like if your resume say you can be a radio personality, it should be no question. But it's not like that. It's always who you know. But podcasting is the exact opposite. In podcasting, you dead ass, it's what you know and how you know to get it. That's it. That's why I'm not faulting people that may not know that having an RSS feed makes you a podcast. I'm not faulting y'all. All I'm saying is do the research. But with a podcast, you can literally go on Instagram today and say, hey, my new podcast is going to drop at some point next week. And nobody's going to question shit because it's that low of a barrier of entry. It's so low that it's millions on trillions of podcasts out now. It's getting to the point where you got to be so niche down to make a significant impact. You're going to have to do the work because it's so such a low barrier of entry. So it depends on for you. What would you rather do? Would you rather go through the radio different route and go up in radio and then probably work your way up to being a syndicated radio personality if they allow you to be talent for that long? Or would you rather go through the podcast route, build your own big ass, you know what I'm saying, platform and have people come and have like your analytics and come to the radio station and say, hey, I know at any given week, 50,000 people are going to listen to me on this show. You can have 50,000 new listeners onto your radio station just by having me as a talent or syndicating my episode. Which one of those conversations sound better? Just depends to you. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I feel very strongly. As you can see, I've been yapping for fucking 30 minutes about media because, man, it's just I love this shit. I love this shit so much, and I put so much time into doing it. A world to where I wouldn't be able to create and do this shit, it would just be the worst shit ever. And I love this shit. I love it so much that I do it for free. Again, I'm not rich by any means. The goal is to get rich. I am not there now. Trust and believe me. I'm not going to give the facade that I'm just rolling in dope just because I got a motherfucking podcast. But that's the goal. You know what I mean? That's the goal. But enough yapping, man. I'm gonna go ahead. I got the wheel ready. You know what I'm saying? Just because I'm flying solo this episode don't mean we not gonna have a wheel. But the wheel is based on some of the stuff that I've been talking about, just media and just my different personality takes and things like that. It's all media, podcast, radio driven this time. I didn't look over the questions. I just know that that's what they are about. So without further yapping, let's spin this fucking wheel and get ready to get up out of this thing, man. How do you feel about the impact of streaming and social media on traditional media formats like radio? I think that if you do not have something on your radio station, especially where it says traditional media formats like radio, but I'm going to say for radio in general right now, if on your radio station you don't have something that is on-demand content, you're already dead in the water. You're already dead in the water because you're now banking on a bunch of people a bunch of people riding in their car to listen to you. Or if you have your shit on another app, maybe you have it on like a Sirius XM or iHeartRadio app. Now you're banking on people to, on a given day, click on that app to listen to your station. So the conversation's the same. It's just now, that's streaming. If you weren't streaming to an app, you were basically banking on people being in their car to listen to you. So you definitely need to stream for sure. Whatever the fuck. If you have independent shows, you definitely need to stream that shit to a podcasting platform. Basically, if you have a radio show, your radio show should already be on podcasting platforms. All you gotta do, rip that audio, have some shit, grab that audio as you record it, rip that bitch down, put that bitch on a podcasting platform. Now your shit in two different spots. People can listen to you live. And they can listen to you on demand. That's why the Breakfast Club is such a big fucking deal. They knew that first and rode the wave. So you gotta have streaming and social media. Okay, let me tell you, man. Think that you don't need social media in 2024. I don't take you serious. I do not take you serious if you are not using social media to the fullest extent in 2024. There's no way around it. It is no way around it. That word of mouth shit is not happening. You may get a few niggas. And if you are from a background to where you was building an audience, you have that already tapped in audience, then maybe you can get away from social media. There's a Chinese food place that's right across the street from my alma mater, FSU. Never seen them motherfuckers on any social media ever, but it's there because they already have a tapped in market at fucking Fayetteville State. But if you don't have that and you're not on social media, I do not take you serious because you literally are not trying your best to get the most people to view you. Now, I ain't saying do no fucking stupid shit, but you should be on there trying to get people to come check you out. No matter what the fuck. I don't give a damn what you do. You should be on. So if you're doing anything in entertainment, if your goal is to be a rapper, singer, writer, producer, blogger, and you're not on social media, I don't want to hear shit about something's wrong and you ain't seeing. You're not even trying. You're not trying. Now, I'm not saying abandon the art, and I'm not saying do some stupid shit on social media. But if you're a rapper and I can't find no music from you, that's an issue. If you're a rapper and you're on social media and I can't find shit about what's going on in your world or or just a video, 15-second snippet of you rapping, I don't take you serious. Look at La Russell. Look at La Russell. If you don't know who La Russell is, look him up. Social media is the way I found him. And this man has had albums on albums on albums. You see what I'm saying? Like, please, but I don't want to get into too much of a tangent, but yes, that makes your shit now. Streaming and social media makes your shit now. If you have a business, if you have some shit that you want to do full time and make your dream a actual reality, you need to be on those two. Simple as that. What's the first piece of content you created that made you think this is what I want to do? So the first piece of content I started doing YouTube 2014. I've been saying that a lot because it's during the holidays and I'm getting reflective. But I started this in 2014. First piece of content I ever made, I was doing a gaming video, but I didn't have a fucking capture card to actually make the gaming shit crisp. So I literally had my cousin Quincy fucking sit right beside me as I played the game, and he was holding the phone like this. And I had him sit still like this as I played. And I took that shit and I'm doing like little noises and shit like that making noises and shit in the video, trying to get people to watch it. And I took that shit and I put it on YouTube. And I went to school the next day and I showed everybody. I made everybody that I knew that fucked with me subscribe to my channel. And it was so lit. People was commenting on my shit. And I look back at that shit now. That shit was garbage. And I promise you nobody watched it. But it was such a riveting experience to be able to create some shit and then put it out for people to see and make them laugh or entertain them for a little while. Seeing people actually be like, wow, you got a channel, and actually subscribe to the channel. And then I started seeing eventually people comment on videos and things like that. It was such a riveting experience that I was like, man, this is what I have to do. And just entertainment of itself is such a big fucking deal, man, because you never know what people are going through, bro. You never know what the fuck people are going through. So if they click on your shit and can get something out of it, if they click on your shit and can forget the shit world that is happening around them, that's all you can ask for, bro. That is all you can ask for. That is the most important lesson to all of this shit, man. That's what we do it for, bro. That's what the fuck we do it for, man. Y'all niggas gonna make me emotional in this bitch. Alright, but yeah, that's what's my first piece of content. I'm probably gonna do like 2 or 3 more and then I'm out. What's a memorable moment or piece of feedback from a fan that reminded you why you create? That is such a good question. It's been a few moments, honestly. One of the things that I got was the sorry, Zabria called me. You know what I'm saying? She texted me. I had to make sure my baby is all good. One of the things that I got one time is that I made a video for anti-bullying awareness, and it was supposed to be a serious video, but again, I didn't have a lot of resources. But it was serious. The message was serious. Even though it was funny how I put it together, the message was serious, and I sent it and I made it for someone that was getting bullied on Twitter, and they appreciated it so much. And it was just a little gesture, things like that. And also, I've had some great comments over the years, man. I've had some negative ones, but I've had some great comments. I've had people call me one of the best that they've seen. I've had people call me a lot of different things on YouTube on those old videos. I've had people without me sending them the video, I post it, they share it, and like they having moments where other people like, wow, this shit was funny. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. Like that's like seeing that, man. Like, and people actually taking your shit and fucking with it. That reminds me of why I do it, man. Because there is nothing better in this world. There's nothing better in this world. Eminem kind of talked about it. When you reel and you spit and people are really feeling your shit and shit like that, it's nothing like it. It's nothing better than it in the world. So I would say, also, I would say feedback that I got from a fan. That's a good one. I've gotten some very critical feedback. I've gotten some shit. Oh, actually, you know what's crazy? I used to do videos on YouTube that was like maybe 1 to 3 minutes long. And a guy commented on one of my videos that was like, hey man, your videos are so short, you need to make longer videos. Because at the time YouTube was giving out bigger rewards for people that made videos longer than 10 minutes. But I just understood that capturing people's attention is so hard, it's gonna get harder and harder and harder, that I felt like I need to make my videos shorter so people can fuck with it. But I let that man, because he had more subscribers than me at the time and I didn't know any better, I let him talk me off my pivot and I started putting out longer form content. Now that person doesn't even do any like media, anything. And now if you don't have short form content, then people might not even watch your shit. Your short form content might get down thousands of views, but your long form content only got like 15. That's just the reality, especially starting out now. Only way people you for your long form content, you gotta use that shit like a bank. People gotta watch your short form content, then be like, damn, let me go fuck with you, and then they go back and see all the long form content. You gotta go back and watch that. It ain't gonna happen in the moment, gang. Do not get discouraged. Some people get it easier than others, and they pop fast. But for the majority, you gotta walk the ride like all of us. Two more, man. Two more. Do you think your personality shines through differently on each platform? Yeah, I do, but I don't now. Because usually I take clips from this podcast and I post it to different platforms. So it's coming from the long form content. I'm cutting it up into short form content and posting it on different platforms. So I guess depending on what I'm talking about, cool. But usually if I post it on Instagram, I'm posting it on Twitter and shit like that. So I guess, I think so. I'm not gonna count down. That one, two more. Do you feel short form content is helping or hurting the quality of media overall? Great question. Yes, I do, and no, I don't. I think it's doing both. I think it's helping people by having people narrow down what the fuck it is that they're talking about. You have to narrow it down because people are doing this all day. They're fucking swiping up. They're fucking scrolling through some shit all day. They're doing this shit all day. So you got to have something in between this that makes them stop and watch your shit. So people have to get sharper on their messaging in order to get people to check it out. So that's helping because you have to be very intentional about what the fuck it is that you're talking about, because most people are doing this shit. So if you can't get something, grab their attention from stopping, they're gonna miss your shit. That's why with a lot of videos on short form, if they start watching your shit within like the 3 second mark, they was doing this. But if you get the motherfuckers to stop and get like 10 seconds, 10 seconds is a long ass time for people. Most people's attention span is 1 to 2 seconds, if that. So if they stop and watch your shit, appreciate that shit. So it's helping that way, but it's also hurting because long form content suffers tremendously. There are people who come up to me that say, "Hey Chris, I checked out your podcast And I know damn well they have not watched that whole hour. I know they haven't. They probably saw the TikTok. They probably saw the YouTube short. They probably saw the IG reel, thought it was funny, maybe even liked it. And that's not guaranteed. They may have just saw it. And now they in your face and they're saying, oh, I saw that. I see you do a podcast. I see I'm fucking with it, because small talk is what people do. But so long form content suffers. But like I said earlier, what you're doing is you're getting people interested, and then they go check out your long form content. They like the long form content when they get here, then they subscribe. And then, or if it's on Instagram or TikTok, they see your short form content and see you consistently putting out this short form content, so they follow you. And then that follow turns into a link push, and the link push takes you to wherever you house your shit, whether it's YouTube or Patreon or whatever the fuck, and then they subscribe. Now you got a person that's in there locked in with you. The next step is getting them on the email list, but I don't want to give you too much game. But yeah, it helps and hurts media overall that way. I think it has its place, but I feel like eventually we're going to suffer, because everything can't be short form content. Long form content is still prevalent, but that's just the way the world works nowadays. One more, man, and we're going to get about this thing. Do I have any routines or rituals to get in the right mindset for recording? No, I don't. So that's lame. I'm not gonna do that one. I don't have any routines. I've been working on this for a long time, so I just kind of get into it. I just make sure that my shit is straight, and make sure that like the feedback as far as like me moving my hands and shit like that is crisp and that's not laggy. I know sometimes it jumps, sometimes whatever, but that's just technology for you. I just make sure all the technology is working. Then I go ahead. I try not to overcomplicate shit. Give me a good one, man. I want to end on a good one. How do you balance How do you balance creating content for yourself versus creating for an audience? Man, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all, bro. I don't fucking know. I don't even think that you can do it. I don't think that's possible. And that is hard. That is so hard. Because the reason why why you can't find a lot of my YouTube videos now is because it hit a point where I went and looked at all my videos and was like, I'm just made shit just to get people to look at it. I just made shit to get people to watch it. I wanted people to watch it so bad that I was just doing random shit. It was no conciseness to the fucking channel. It was just, at one point I'm doing a reaction video. At the next point I'm doing a reaction video to niggas in my city. The next point I'm doing like a rant. Like I got a damn skit, some random skit, and just random shit. I just like, you just start putting it out because that's just what people know you for. And you just creating just to get people to watch you. You not making shit for yourself. It was nothing self-helping other than the actual process of making the video that did that for me. It was nothing self-helping about the process at all. So I think now what you got to do is make the content for yourself and then introduce it to the people. And then from that point, the people that resonate with that content stay. And you are grateful for them, but the people that don't, leave, and you don't give a fuck about them. That's the way it should be. You need to make the content for yourself, because that authenticity is going to speak every time. At least for the people that I fuck with them people heavy because they are authentically them, and I know they're not bullshitting. So, and their voice is a voice that I can actually fuck with, and I can actually get something from. I know that they're not just pandering to whoever the fuck. I respect them because they're who they are. I respect the Charlemagne the God because no matter if it's whoever the fuck in my face, I'm going to ask the questions that I need to ask, and I'm going to have the dialogue I need to dialogue, because I'm not beholden to you. I'm beholden to the people that trust me as the trusted source. So if I think they need this information, fuck your attitude, and I'm going to ask you this question. You see what I'm saying? It's a realness that comes with that. It's a realness that people, and that's how you become a trusted source. Once you become a motherfucker that moves with the wind, all we know is that you eventually do whatever it takes to get the audience. And that's what it goes to with the first thing I said when I first cracked the microphone in this episode. You know, like, it's gonna come to a point where now you're always trying to like overdo yourself. You're always trying to outdo what you did last. Outshot people that you did last, because that's how you got the audience. The audience met you from doing wild shit, so now you gotta keep doing wild shit to get the next motherfucker. And it worked for you then, but eventually you're gonna have to keep doing wild shit, and someone's gonna get seriously hurt because you gotta actually keep doing the dumb shit that got you here, versus just making some shit for yourself and letting that message out in the world, and whoever needs that message can come get you as that trusted source. So it's very hard to do this shit, especially when you know if you do some fucked up wild shit, people will check you out. It is the deceit of creators. Like, it is oh man, it is so hard not to do it. And I joke about having creating an OnlyFans and Pornhub and shit like that, but that joke comes from shit like this, because I know that me actually giving you the game and actually telling you some real shit on a camera and a microphone may not hit everybody, but it's gonna hit somebody. You know what will hit everybody? The big booty twerking. Because everybody likes a nice ass. You know what hit everybody? Them motherfuckers fighting. Because everybody want to see a good fight. Stand for something to fall for anything. You see what I'm saying? So you have to figure out this balance. And I salute anybody that's trying to do it I must call it the right way, but there's no right or wrong way. That's trying to do it the morally right way. That's trying to actually have some content that resonates with some people, because inspiration is the highest form of human interaction. So you trying to inspire people or doing whatever the fuck you can with your content is it. I just feel for the people that runs into that wall. And I'm very glad that I ran into that wall early, because now I can say everything that I put out now is something that I created with myself in mind, and things that I liked and things that I wanted to emulate for good reason. So, yes, that it's hard, man. It's very hard. Fuck it. That was such a good question. I'm sorry. I keep pushing the needle. I'm gonna do one more. This is really good. Last one. How do you handle numbers side of content creation, views, likes, subscribers, without letting it define your work? You gotta do what I just said. You have to make for yourself. You gotta completely take all of the numbers and shit out of it. You gotta be proud of the work by itself before other people see it. You need to be proud of your work before others see it. If you're not proud of it, then you're gonna just keep starting to do shit for likes and views or whatever. It ain't about that. It is not about the numbers of views and shit you get. Now, I'm not gonna be a hypocrite. The number of subscribers you get and views and likes, that shit is important, because you want people to see your shit. You want people to see and like your shit. You want people to want to come back to your shit. I get that, but focusing on shit like that makes it so that whatever it takes to get the likes, views, and subscribers is what you'll do. So if you don't have a moral compass to be able to look past those numbers and look at the impact of what it is that you're trying to do, then you are going to become what I said earlier: a view, a like, a subscriber prostitute, and you're gonna get pimped out to the highest buyer. Whatever, and the buyer is the motherfuckers that's watching you. So just know that you got to look at that shit as a grain of salt. You need it, and you want them to increase, and you want them to build into something, to a self secure, you know what I'm saying, bulletproof ass audience that completely taps into whatever it is that you do. You want that, but you don't want to be beholden to that. So just learn to create, love what you do, and learn to love what you create, and you won't have to worry about that. That's it, man. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, this one was for the creators. It's for the people that check out the Out the Blue podcast, and I love y'all so much. I hope that this episode shows you how fucking serious I take it is. this what we do, how serious I take anything that I create, and I plan to create so much more, especially next year. I got a lot of shit that I'm working on now. I got a lot of different ideas and things that I want to do in this media landscape. It's every day for me. It's literally an everyday grind. I'm posting, I'm clicking, I'm looking, I'm reading trends. It's an everyday thing for me. So above anything else from this episode, just understand that the person that's behind this microphone each and every week, I give a fuck. I give a fuck about what it is that I'm doing. And I'm not just doing this shit to fuck with you. Of course, I want to get something out of it. But I'm doing this shit because I'm true to this shit. It ain't on me, it's in me. No diddy. But if you want to follow your boy, and make sure that you go on Instagram and follow me at the Mastermind Chris Blue. You can follow me on Twitter /X at Mastermind Chris. You can follow me on TikTok at I am CJ Blue. But most importantly, you can follow the motherfucking Out the Blue podcast wherever you get your fucking podcast. That means I am on iHeartRadio. That means I am on Apple Podcasts. That means I'm on Spotify. That means I'm on Google Podcasts. That means I'm on Amazon. I mean, whatever you get your shit, you can check us out. Spreaker, iHeartRadio. Whatever it is, you can check us out at these different places. And also, but down below, if you're on Instagram, that is the Instagram Out the Blue podcast. That's where a lot of the clips go. And we're on YouTube at Out the Blue Pod. Not Out the Blue Pod. Mind Masters Prod. Mind Masters is my production wing basically, and it's my media group. A lot of the stuff that I put out is going to be underneath that Mind Masters umbrella. So fuck with Mind Masters wherever you see merch, when all that shit will come down the road. I have images, and like I said, man, I give a fuck. I give a fuck, and I appreciate anybody that clicks play on a clip. If you click play on the audio, if you click play on the video, I adore you and I appreciate you. And if you stay for the long run, I'm gonna show you how to do this shit the right way. That is on my daddy, my nigga. So until next time, always recording, always doing what it takes, and I hope y'all have a good one, and I'll see y'all next week, man. Until next time, peace.